we're live right here in the studio with Omoyele Sowore. He's the presidential candidate for the AAC, and come February the 25th, we'll be going to the polls, and we're hoping that, you know, it turns in your favor, of course. Now, I have a question for you on behalf of the Nigerian youths and everything. You know, you are a youth yourself. You're very vocal.
I'm youthful.
Definitely.
I'm 51 years old. Probably not a youth anymore. I went to Ibadan some last week ago, and I changed my name from Omoyele to Baba Yele.
It's not a money again, Baba.
Now, you're well abreast with the struggles we go through as Nigerians. You, in fact, you come out and you talk about them. Now, if you get to win, what exactly are you going to spend the first 2 years in office doing for Nigerians?
There is uninterrupted power supply.
Okay.
That's my first 2 years. And it's to invest heavily in a number of opportunities as presented itself by technology to bring power. When we're driving to this place, I saw solar panels on your roof. You understand?
That's
what you're trying to
money.
sell, yes, it's very expensive to install. It's not for the poor. You understand? But you will, if you get the right one, you will benefit from this for a long time to come.
Okay.
But it's not just that you have solar panel that the government should do. In the UK, everybody that grows solar panel on their roof or any kind of energy, renewable energy source, because renewable is the future. If you have excess, the government will give you a meter to sell to your neighbor. So there will be another grid in the area, so that if the excess you have, you pump it into a grid, and that can give to people who cannot afford yours. So that is retailing electricity. So apart from going to work, you can invest in electricity and be selling to the government without leaving your house. Because part of the bogey that is killing the Nigerian electrical sector is the national grid. You know, so if you generate electricity in this country today, you still have to give it to the federal government. So they can decide that the electricity generated in Lagos is directed to Kano. You have no power over it. But we must stop that. We must allow people to generate electricity and keep it and use for their own good. That's just part of the electricity. But you asked me, what's 2 years?
Yes.
The 2 years, electricity is major priority. And then security and investment in education. And when you talk about education, look at the number of doctors that have left us now. In the last 2 years, since after COVID, over 8,000 doctors. So 15,000 nurses have left. You have to train new ones. Otherwise, your country will become redundant. You won't be able to provide the manpower that you needed to make the country compete in the international world and in the future. So I will not be a president who allows us to strike for 9 months. It's not going to happen. There's not going to be extra strike under my watch. And then we'll tackle this major security issue facing the country. But the reason I talked about electricity first is that if you take care of electricity, the GDP of Nigeria will rise by not less than 7% astronomically annually. And if you have revenue sources that are solid, stable, and consistent, you will provide employment, and when there's employment, you will find out that crime rates will go down. Yes, you cannot have peace without development, and you cannot have development without investing in people, because our leaders always talk over us. That's why I don't do rallies, you know, because they're a major distraction. They never say anything at rallies. Rallies are an opportunity for presidential candidates not to talk to the people and not to take questions from the people. But look at, we're here today. You have a catchment area. I mean, your studio, people are listening. You understand? But you are not going to likely find another presidential candidate that will come here again.
So, today?
Yes, not in this election. So take my picture, put it on the wall, and it will become tourism for you someday too.
Fantastic, fantastic. How is the present alliance of your party going?
The alliance we have is with the PRP. PRP is one of the most credible parties in the north. It was formed by a man known as Aminu Kano. And when he died, Balarabe Musa took over. So the alliance is going very well. We just came from Kano. And they are taking charge of our campaign, mostly
Okay.
in the northwest and northeastern part of the country,
Oh, fantastic.
and wherever they exist. They have representation everywhere in the
What
country.
advice you have for Nigerians in the upcoming election, 2023, February?
It's a little difficult to advise people who are adults. If you are not an adult, you are not eligible to vote. So how do you advise adults in a country like Nigeria that they should choose not to suffer? You understand? This one is a choice you can make, and it's very easy. How is it easy? You know, you have lived through some 20 years of renewed democracy, which started in 1999. And the same people who put you in the condition you are in, you know their characteristics. You know how they behave. You know how they come. Before, they used to give people a whole loaf of bread. Now it has become sliced bread. You're still collecting it. You know, before they used to add some other things to it. You know, now you don't even get anything. Before they used to give you 10,000 naira to vote. Now the 10,000 naira you get is worthless in the market, considering the cost of living. Before you used to buy chicken, a whole chicken for maybe 2,000 naira. Now it's 15,000 naira. Before you used to be able to send your children to school. Now there are no schools to go to. Before you used to be able to feed. Now you can't feed. You know, there was a time when we were growing up in Nigeria. If they fried dodo, they used to be like huge. You know, our parents used to throw out dodo and put it because they say it's burnt. There's no burnt dodo anymore in Nigeria. You know what we have now are transparent dodo. There's no difference. There's no difference between dodo and ipekere anymore. They are the same. They are so thin. So I'm just using that to tell the story in a community like this, so that people can relate with it. And ask yourself, why would you have voted for somebody or someone was in power in 1984 and is still your president in 2023? Your father was a child in 1984. Now you are also an adult and you have the same president. When is it going to be your turn? So this thing is, for the Yoruba speakers, our local, so we should get rid of this sentiment and mentality that the same people should have the only right to govern us.
That's the one.
Let young people govern this country.
All right.
Yeah, let a new generation take over.
All right.
You know, remove the analog leaders and put digital leaders in place.
All right. We wish you all the best.
Thank you very
Come 25th February. All the best at the polls. Thank you so much for coming and doing this with us.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.